Hey guys, let's get more news about Steelers, but first, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and leave a like. Pittsburgh's pieces coming together to make 2026 first-round QB move. No matter what Aaron Rodgers decides, the Pittsburgh Steelers' long-term needs are the same. Whether Rodgers signs with the Steelers, waits out the Minnesota Vikings, or retires to fly a hot air balloon around the world, all three equally likely outcomes, the franchise needs its long-term quarterback. 2025 probably isn't the year to get one. A weak draft class, a Pittsburgh team lacking draft capital to trade up even if they wanted to. But 2026? The Steelers are in play. Intentional or not, one heck of a plan is coming together for Pittsburgh to go all in on a quarterback in April 2026. The draft class is expected to be stronger, and the Steelers will have the picks to move up the board. In 2025, 2 to maybe 3 quarterbacks are expected to be taken in the first round. Miami, FL's Cam Ward is closing in on slam dunk status as the number 1 overall pick to Tennessee. Colorado's Shedeur Sanders is a virtual lock to hear his name called on Thursday night, though determining how long he'll wait is harder. Ole Miss Jackson Dart is the true wild card. Is the hype over him real? Or is he another Malik Willis or Tom Savage, pre-draft buzz fizzling out when teams actually decide? Even if all three are first-rounders, they pale in comparison to last year's class, in which 6 quarterbacks went in the top dozen picks. The consensus is that Ward, Sanders, and Dart wouldn't have jumped anyone from last year's class and would have been ranked behind Bo Nix, the 6th quarterback to be taken. The 2025 class lacks the can't-miss prospects. 2026? Could be a different story. Predicting the strength of a draft class this far out is difficult. Prospects fall, prospects rise. Joe Burrow's ascension to the number 1 pick in 2020 wasn't predicted a year out. In his too early 2020 mock, Todd McShay projected Tua Tagovailoa, Justin Herbert, and Madden-generated prospect Nate Stanley from Iowa would be the class's first-rounders. Burrow was nowhere to be found. Stanley never threw an NFL pass. But the early belief is 2026 will be strong. Texas Arch Manning could be the crown jewel if he plays well and if he declares. Penn State's Drew Aller and LSU's Garrett Nussmeier could have come out in 2025 but opted to return to school and work on their flaws, smart decisions by both. Perhaps Tennessee's Nico Iamaleava breaks out to a Burrow-like season in the Volunteers' high-tempo offense. Clemson's Cade Klubnik and South Carolina's Lenora Sellers will also be worth watching, and who knows who else emerges to join them. Any high-end prospect will likely be out of the Steelers' initial draft range. Since 2008, Mike Tomlin's first draft class after his first full season coaching, Pittsburgh's never held an original first-rounder higher than 15th overall. In 2019, they traded up from number 20 to number 10. And in 2023, moved from 17th to 14th. Assuming they're in the classic 20 to 25 range, the Steelers function much like Leonardo DiCaprio, they'll have to jump teams to nab a quarterback. Triple Take, ranking the top safeties in the draft. The Triple Take crew of Dale Lally, Matt Williamson, and Mike Pursuta take a look at the top prospects in the upcoming 2025 NFL Draft, which will be held in April. Today, they delve into the safety position. The opinions expressed here are their own and not those of the Pittsburgh Steelers. Dale's take: safeties have become major chess pieces in modern football. In college, they're sometimes bulked up a bit and moved to off-ball linebacker. And they drop down and play the slot, man the deep post and also match up on tight ends. It takes a diverse skill set. The ones who can do all of those things, a la Minkah Fitzpatrick, are unicorns. But there also are prospects who specialize in doing certain aspects of the job and can adequately do other parts of what's asked of them. This is a good group overall in that regard. Dale's rankings 1. Malachi Starks, Georgia, 6'0", 7/8", 197 pounds, while Starks didn't blaze through his 40 time at the NFL Combine, running a 4.5 flat in the 40, his 1.51 second 10-yard split shows how quickly he gets up to speed. Starks was an immediate starter at Georgia as a true freshman and recorded 6 interceptions and 17 pass breakups in his 3 seasons. Starks shows a good understanding of what opposing offenses are trying to accomplish. He looks like a long-term starter at free safety. 2. Nick Emenwari, South Carolina, 6'3" 1/2", 220 pounds. Emenwari is a monster-sized safety prospect who can drop down and play the slot or man the strong safety position with ease. His height can hurt him a little changing directions in coverage, causing a lack of fluidity, but he ran a 4.38 second 40 at the Combine while also posting a 43-inch vertical jump, 2 things that help him recover better than most. 3. Xavier Watts, Notre Dame, 5'11" 3/4", 204 pounds. If ball production is what you're searching for, Watts is your man. In the past 2 seasons, he picked off a ridiculous 13 passes, adding 14 pass defenses. The ball just seems to find him. He's not as good of a tackler as teams might want on the back end, and he's not going to line up and cover people, but deep safeties with his nose for the football are hard to find. 4. Kevin Winston, Penn State, 6'1" 1/2", 215 pounds. Winston is a big-bodied safety who missed a large chunk of the 2024 season thanks to a partially torn ACL. That limited him to 3 games in 2024. He started all 13 games in 2023 for the Nittany Lions, but overall, the 21-year-old is lacking in experience. But his traits are undeniable. Winston's medicals just need to check out okay. 5. Billy Bowman, Oklahoma, 5'9" 7/8", 192 pounds. While slightly undersized, Bowman's speed is apparent on his tape. He ran a 4.42 second 40 at the NFL Combine and had solid jumps, showing his explosiveness. Bowman has good ball skills, having picked off 11 passes in the past 3 seasons, returning 3 of those for touchdowns. While his size limits his ability in run support, he's more than willing to mix it up. Steelers predicted to trade for 4,100-yard QB after Russell Wilson signs with Giants. The Pittsburgh Steelers may still add a quarterback in free agency, but that player won't be Russell Wilson. Wilson agreed to a 1-year deal with the New York Giants on Tuesday, March 25, leaving Aaron Rodgers as the likeliest free agent addition to a QB room currently headlined by Mason Rudolph. But even if Pittsburgh lands Rodgers, he will be 42 years old in December and profiles as a short to medium-term solution, at most. That brings the conversation back around to next month's NFL Draft, in which the Steelers select 21st overall. That pick may not be high enough to afford Pittsburgh a shot at the 3rd QB off the board in the first round, let alone Cam Ward of Miami or Shedeur Sanders of Colorado, whom are predicted by most analysts to be the first 2 signal callers selected. Former NFL general manager and current ESPN analyst Mike Tannenbaum released a mock draft on Tuesday following the news of Wilson's departure to New York, in which he projected the Steelers will trade up with the Chicago Bears and secure Sanders with the number 10 pick. As of now, Rodgers is still unsigned. We can't just assume he will definitely come to Pittsburgh. So I'm making the move to add Sanders, Tannenbaum wrote. I'm calling it now. Sanders projects as a top 15, maybe even top 12 starting QB in the NFL. That would be huge for a Steelers franchise that was 20th in QBR last season, 51.3. The move would cost Pittsburgh its number 21 pick this year, along with 3rd and 4th rounders in the 2025 draft, numbers 83 and 123. The Steelers would also have to throw in a 2026 first-rounder in Tannenbaum's deal due to the positional value Sanders represents to a perennial playoff team without a real answer at QB. Sanders threw for more than 4,100 yards and 37 touchdowns last season with the Buffaloes. And you fan? What do you think about Shedeur Sanders' situation? Write to us in the comments.